I received this comment a while back about day trading options because people are chasing fast income gains, which is absolutely true. Since I also actively day trade options, I figured it wouldn't be a bad idea to talk about two strategies that I use to make about $100 a day in the stock market while day trading options. And I used them today, 9/15/2020, to make a bit over $100 while only using about $700 of buying power in my account. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Jacob Fisher, and today we are talking about day trading options and specifically the strategies I use, at least two of them, to make $100 gains every day, or at least most days. Now, I'm not an investment professional though, so this is for entertainment purposes only. Also, options are just more risky than typical investments, but there are plenty of people out there who do make an income day trading options, day trading small caps, large caps, and everything in the middle. So with that said, let's tap the like button and get into it. I wanted to first go over the trades I made today and then talk about the strategies that I used to kind of develop those trades and why I took them specifically today. Now, I won't be going over what you should do before you start day trading. That'll be in a future video, so make sure you subscribe for that one, right? Firstly, going over the trades I took on 9/15 for a $173 gain in just really 20 minutes of time. I have my orders down there along with the realized gain somewhere on the screen right now to make sure you know that I am in fact not faking it. I just traded Tesla today because honestly Tesla is pretty fun to trade and they're pretty volatile, so you can make larger gains in a shorter period of time than you can with some of the other stocks. The first trade I made today was a momentum based trade because my typical strategy doesn't work very well in the first 5 minutes. The market is just settling. It hasn't picked a direction yet. So this first strategy is where that comes in. We have a stock like Tesla, which gapped up and then had a morning dip at the open and then a bit of a rebound. I waited until that rebound was confirmed by crossing over the pink line. That is the VWAP, volume weighted average price. It's an indicator that I use for pretty much all of my strategy right now. So I'll be calling it VWAP from then on, but keep in mind it is that pink line. I got in when it crossed over the VWAP line, then sold when it spiked above the pre-market high. That is another point of resistance that I will be getting into later in the video when I talk more about the strategy. This trade is typically a risky one, and had Tesla not been able to break the pre-market high, I probably would have gotten out pretty quickly. Tesla was strong though and broke above it, allowing me to get out for a decent gain right in under 60 seconds or so. To show you when you should not have gotten in, let's take a look at Apple, which also had a morning gap up. It dipped down in the morning, but it never broke above that VWAP line in the early morning, meaning I wouldn't have gotten in because it didn't get above that line. Apple, though, is a prime example of another strategy that I use that we will talk about again later in the video. Typically in the morning, you have very volatile stocks and the option prices can fluctuate a lot in a short period of time, which is what I was trying to take advantage of with Tesla. It allowed me to get in for $3.60 or $360 and then sell for $5.05 or $505 in under a minute. That volatility is what this strategy is trying to take advantage of. My stops for this strategy are the VWAP line that I mentioned and the low of day, or the stock where it bounced down to. If it crossed under that, I should definitely be out by then. If a stock breaks the VWAP line after I get in and there's intense selling, I would probably get out to limit losses. If you stay in during the morning, you could expect to see very large losses because of how volatile that morning is. We have a gapped up stock, morning sell-off, comes back up to quickly break over the VWAP, your entry point, and then we either have a stop at the VWAP and low a day, right around there, or sell above the pre-market high. This is a quick trade that should generate you around $100 in just a few short minutes, or in my case, under 60 seconds. Moving on to strategy 2, which again revolves around the VWAP for me. We can use Apple again because there are two opportunities for you to have gotten in during this time, which is incredible for it to happen twice in one day. Now, one of the trades on the side was better than the other though. Apple at 9:47 a.m. crossed over the VWAP and bounced off of it at 9:50, which is the point in time which you could have gotten in for some calls. This is because Apple crossed over the VWAP and is now using it for support. The 118 and 75 cent calls were about $2.05 at this time. Let's consider that for the entry point. Now, you could have sold at 9:55 for $2.25, But that would have been a tiny win, not a bad sell point though, because Apple hit the open price, which is a point of resistance for it, or it just hit right near it. However, if you didn't sell, then the stop for me would have been when it broke down the VWAP at 10:02 in the morning, and I would have sold at $2 for a $5 loss, depending on how many contracts you have. Now we broke under the VWAP, and this actually allows us to get in on the put side rather than the call side, because we're using that VWAP as a point of resistance now, which Apple bounces or hits at least at 10:10, only 10 minutes later. This is where the better trade was apparently found to be. Now you never quite know this getting in, but it turned out to be a very good trade had you gotten in for a put at 10:10 in the morning. Anyways, you could have gotten in the 117.5 puts for $2.33 a contract, then held on for the downtrend. The potential exit points here are when it breaks the previous low. Again, a point of support for it at 10:15, and you could have sold for that at $2.60. Now the other point of exit is that green line, which is actually yesterday's high. That is again a point of support that you could consider an exit point. And that happened at 10:24 a.m. and you would have actually been able to sell your contract that you bought at $2.33 for $3.15. Both are points of support for Apple, and they're good places where you can consider your exit point. Honestly, this trade is super easy, and depending on how many contracts you have, kind of tells you how much you could potentially make off of the trade. Just buying 2 contracts would allow you to sell for a $60 gain at the first exit, or one for the $30 gain, and then held on for the $80 gain later, or you could have held both of them for a total of a $160 gain at that second entry point. Both you would be holding for under 20 minutes, so it's a very short time frame trade. We're not doing any swing trades, we're just waiting until Apple hits an entry point and then hits potential exit points or stop losses for you to get out. You just need to wait until the trade sets itself up for your potential entries. Don't try to force anything if the stock is just cruising upwards. Definitely don't get in during that time. Let's look at the risk reward on the trade though. Had Apple reversed again and crossed over the VWAP, you're probably looking at a $20 loss compared to the potential $60 or $160 gain, which is pretty good in my books. That's a 3-to-1 or 8-to-1 risk to reward ratio. I could go over Roku and Nvidia, both showing real potential on trades for them, but let me know in the comments where you see the entry and exit points that you could potentially get in and out of for the trades for them. You can even look up the option contract to see the potential prices and gains you could have received had you gotten in following this strategy. Another thing you need to do is make sure you track all the trades that you make and make sure you follow your strategy and you're not making any random trades just based off emotion. If you take the emotion out of it, you can probably achieve some decent amount of success with day trading, but that's a whole other video that we'll be getting into if you subscribe down below. Maybe you can also develop your own strategy at the end of it. And again, subscribe because we'll have a future video on that. Now I upload videos on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on travel and finance. If that sounds like something interesting to you, make sure you subscribe down below. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time.